All right, so I also have my oils here. And ang dami niya. Grabe. Okay. Also, I have my morning tea. Have you guys had your breakfast na? Not yet? Oy, bring your breakfast in front of you. Kahit kape lang yan or tinapay or whatever. My breakfast is basically this. Hi, Zar! Thank you so much for everyone who's gonna be turning on their videos. It's so much nicer to have a class with faces. Kung ayaw nyo, carry lang. 3 minutes. So I was also reading everybody's comment or feedback about the summit. I'm very happy that most of you guys enjoyed it. Well, actually, all of you guys enjoyed it, especially those who were able to bring things home. And I'm very happy kasi maganda yung feedback na binigay nyo. I mean, everybody enjoyed. A lot of you guys have learned. Obvious naman sa mga comments nyo ngayon sa EOP. Nakikita ko na a lot of you girls have absorbed a lot of things. And I guess at the end of the day, that's what makes me fulfilled when I see people actually learning from our efforts. And I have my mini diffuser here. This is actually my favorite diffuser. Later, I want to set time for people to send in their questions. So I want the bulk of the session for today is for Q&A. So we have 17 people, 1 minute. Habang nag-aantay tayo ng ibang participants, please be sure to bring your oils in front of you. I have all my oils in front of me. I have my tea in front of me. Also, another announcement. 10:02 na. Another announcement. If you guys have Amazon, you better check out Amy's new book. It's actually on sale. Naka $5 lang. As in, binili ko ulit. Kasi naka-sale yung second edition, which has the addendum of CBD recipes na wala dun sa first ebook ko and wala dun sa hard copy book ko. For today's jam, you'll be using rosemary, lime, and juniper. Okay? So wait. If you check your Amazon, kung may Amazon kayo, and you're into ebooks like I am, check this out. It's Plant Powered Beauty, second edition. Dapat yung merong, wait, does it say na may second edition?
Good morning, Jirbie. Binili ko last night. Okay nga siya.
I told you. Who am I speaking to? Sorry.
Lou.
Huh? Lou! Ay, wala ka kasing video. Hi, Lou!
Sorry.
Did you catch the sale?
Hindi. Last night, kasi pinakinggan ko yung video niya sa Naha, and then she was promoting yung book niya, and then I saw the courses that you can buy the courses. I mean, yung recipe, like very affordable. Kung meron ka lang interest na isang specific na recipe, you can do that. So I think for the oilers who are parang meron lang silang type na specific recipe, they can just like purchase that. And the book was, yun nga, $4.99 lang siya.
Yeah, so, it's $5.
Ang laking katipiran. And I wanted to, actually, ang yung interest ko, gusto kong makita pin how does she explain it, diba? So kasi it's good to learn from different teachers. So na-appreciate ko yung ano niya, yung dami niyang mga binigay na useful tips at saka mga resources. So maganda. Thank you for recommending her.
Of course, you're welcome. Ayun, so it's only $5, girls. How much did I buy this? I think it was $16 nung binili ko yung ebook before. Kasi I bought it at the time it was launched. Luckily, I also have the hard copy, which I rarely use. Kasi I'm really into ebooks. The reason why I like ebooks, kasi I only read when I'm traveling. So when I'm stuck in the plane, stuck on the road, that's the time I can read. All other things, I'm stuck on the internet. So I really love ebooks. If you have time, if you have Amazon account, if you have an iPad, I'm sure you have. Kapag meron kayong bata nag-aaral, get it. It's only $5. Grabe. Super steal. 250 pesos.
I'm buying it now.
Yes, buy it now.
Simple lang kasi yung mga
Fail.
niya, yung mga recipes niya, parang sinabi naman niya na more of pang beginner. So,
Correct.
ano to, parang actually instead din ako i-try like halimbawa yung scrub niya as in real cucumber, real tarragon, tapos isang drop lang ng peppermint or rosemary. So parang you can get the same plant benefits and makakatipid ka dun sa EO mo but still get the same kumbaga wellness result or yung talagang cleansing result. So I'm excited to try the recipes.
Correct. So as I mentioned during the summit, the reason why I love her, kasi she's an aromatherapist that is not super fanatic of essential oils. And I want to emulate that. As you can see naman in my practice with my videos, I use a lot of other plant materials. Like recently, I just shared yung enzymatic cleaner, which is actually cleared by our vet to be used here in our house. Another thing that I'm delving into is incense cones. So I use a lot of real plant materials. I dehydrate some of my own plants. Like I dehydrate my jasmine for my crafting ng soap, at pen. Anong dinihydrate ko dito? I forgot na. Basta may dinihydrate din ako in making the incense. I do a lot of those things kasi hindi pwede yung cat sa essential oils. And so it gave me the, not an excuse, but maybe the inspiration to check out other modalities aside from essential oil and appreciate all these plant materials. So let's start. Let's start with our rosemary. And then after the class, after the short lecture, I would say, we'll have our Q&A. Mas gusto ko yung Q&A kasi I wanted this chance to give you this chance to shoot me whatever questions that you have. As you can notice, hindi ako masyadong nakakasagot sa Facebook, Viber. It's impossible for me. So ito na, I set aside time for people so we can answer your questions. All right, so let's do first rosemary. Pick your rosemaries up and take a whiff. I'll get my rosemaries. I like getting multiple oils across brands simply because I like comparing them talaga with each other and try to, pinpoint ano ba yung mga difference na yan? Ano ba yung mga nuances na yan? Why is it different? I like thinking about those things. So I think I have 3 rosemaries here. Let me just pick it up. While I'm getting my rosemaries, I hope you have your rosemary in front of you. Okay, so I have 3 rosemaries. Let me just show you. So this is from Zell Aroma. I'm not really a fan of this. I really hate it. And then I have Eden's Garden. Later, I'll double check kung pareho sila ng Latin binomial. Mas gusto ko yung Eden's Garden. Parang mas minty siya. And this one is from Student Supplies Kit. It's called Mikael Zayat. I like this also. All right, so among my 3 rosemaries, ito yung naiiba. This is rosemary chemotype Cineol. Wait, since Lou is here, Lou, can you share with us ano ang difference ng rosemary chemotype Cineol?
Kasi yung 1/8 Cineol, similar siya dun sa mga iba pang EOs na meron ding Cineol, like eucalyptus has a 1/8 Cineol din. So actually yung pag meron kang respiratory issues, ang nire-recommend nila, kailangan as an aromatherapist, you have to ask the client to take a whiff muna before recommending something na may 1/8 Cineol kasi baka hindi nila okay sa kanila. So meron siyang ganun na parang
disclaimer.
Oo.
Tama. And then these other 2, I have Rosmarinus officinalis. Ano yung sa inyo? Ano yung sa inyo?
Same din sa akin, may nagbigay sa akin ng doTERRA Rosemary. So, officinalis din siya.
Professionalis din po for YL.
Oh. Okay. Alice, is this like same with the Signol, Lou? Because it's different. My Signol is Sineoliferum.
I didn't know na may ganun pala. Kasi isa
Ako
lang yung
rin.
parang may rosemary ako din na tinry, I think, before. Yung sa pack ko, yung for school. Pero naubos na. Pero, I think, teka, ano ba yun? Sa
thought,
Lorenzo, meron din siya, di ba?
Oh, akala ko common yung may Signol. Diba?
I would think that dapat yun yung default. Hindi ko alam na meron palang senior.
Ako rin. Ako rin. Actually, the reason why kids are not allowed to sniff on rosemary because of the Signol, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Kasi yun yung may sensitivity sa kids. Baka iba yung reaction sa respiratory system niya. That's why we're very, very careful with rosemary. And that's why I picked this for today because I want this to be highlighted among you girls. Some people may love rosemary. I've met some students na gusto nila yung rosemary, especially yung mga nagluluto. Ako kasi I don't cook and bake, so carry lang. I do use my rosemary when I'm preparing blends for alopecia, yung mga namroblema sa hair loss. Because as you may know or may not know, rosemary is a good oil to promote blood circulation, and you need that when you want to have your hair growth going on. So I use this for my uncle's hair loss issue, and that's all that I ever use for my rosemary. I don't really appreciate rosemary. How about you girls? Sino ang mag-share? Take a whiff and let me know what you think.
Jirbie, I have two. I have the one from Young Living and the one from Plant Therapy. So, officinalis yung Young Living. So, it's really more earthy yung scent niya. And minty nga yung the other one, the Cineol, yung Plant Therapy. So, ako mas soothing for me the Plant Therapy. Medyo hindi ko gusto yun sa Young Living na scent.
I agree. I would say the same thing. Yung Zen Aroma would probably be similar to what you said about YL. And then these two, yung parang mas minty. Although itong sa Eden's Garden that I bought, I specifically chose yung Moroccan rosemary. Marami siyang rosemary sa website. I chose this. May Spanish rosemary, may Moroccan. I picked Moroccan kasi wala, trip ko lang. Sometimes ganun, trip ko lang. Or cute yung bottle kasi pink. Yung Spanish hindi. Anybody else who has a different brand?
Jirbie, nakita ko pala sa Aromatics International, meron silang rosemary chemotype camphor.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. That's a stronger one.
Oh, yun na nga. Parang sabi ko, bakit parang medyo magkaiba sila ng amoy nitong doTERRA. So, that's the reason, I think, kasi magkaiba ng, mas strong yung camphor scent sa, lighter.
Spanish yung may camphor. Poliana, do you have Spanish? Congrats, Poliana. You have 2 Pili masks. You're one of the 2 who has 2 Pili masks. Galing. Ito pa. Buzzer beater pa yan si Poliana. Last minute yan nag-enroll. So lucky. Alright. Sino pang may ibang brands who would want to share?
I only have YL.
Yeah.
Hindi talaga siya. Kanina ko pa inaamoy, napaka-konti na ng parang mint na nandun. Hindi talaga siya, hindi talaga.
Ako rin, hindi ko siya masyado gusto. But yun, common use for it is for your respiratory. Pero hindi siya pwede sa kids. And then, topically, it's great for promoting blood circulation. And I'll share with you some combinations that you can use with your rosemary. So when you use
Jirbie?
yes.
Summer pa. For,
Yes.
if it's not good for kids, as in all ages po ba ito?
No, I think it's only 9 and below. Pero meron
Okay.
ibang books 6 and below. So ako, I
Doon na
follow
tayo
the
sa 9.
9. Yeah. Same
Thank
with your
you.
eucalyptus. Same with your pep. Yan, pare-pareho sila. Isang bracket sila. Okay? Alright, going back, your rosemary, you can combine this with your juniper. So it can reduce microbes or purify the air. There have been a lot of debate about this, especially during COVID. If you studied your certification before COVID, you can see naman na in your lessons na oils can purify the air, can actually cleanse your air, di ba? I'm not sure with Lou, but
Yeah,
Diba?
yung antimicrobial.
Okay.
I actually tried to use more of those, lalo na kapag maliit yung condo, tapos nun, nagluto ka ng something to help purify the air. Although yung mga studies naman, sinasabi naman nila na, of course, EOS is not something na pang against COVID. So, I stopped there. Pero nakakalinis naman talaga ng amoy ng condo kapag nagluto ka ng isda.
Correct. So yun nga, because of COVID, I see a lot of people na parang tearing down talaga yung mga EO concepts na how dare you claim your oils can combat, ganyan-ganyan. So ako, I just want to bring balance to it all. In anything naman, like what I've shared during Summit, you can learn from different schools of thought and process it by yourself. Diba? Na parang according to your logical, critical thinking. Ako, I believe that the oils can cleanse the air, therefore can somehow protect me. Like whenever I'm out, I'm really invested in my personal diffuser talaga. I really use this at kapag lumalabas ako at may bumabahing, wala talaga akong pake. I diffuse my feels. It can be psychological, but you know, better safe than sorry. And nakamask pa rin ako. So, you know, just those little things of precaution. So yun, you can combine your rosemary and juniper, and it's a good combination to cleanse the air. And then you can also use rosemary, marjoram, and black pepper. That one naman is great for vein stimulant. May nakita akong nagtanong about varicose vein. Hindi ko alam kung saan, kung sa Viber or sa Facebook. But there you go. You can use rosemary, black pepper, and marjoram to actually alleviate the pains in your vein. Rosemary being the one that will stimulate blood flow. Black pepper is something that's really hot. It will give you comfort. And marjoram is really soothing. Okay? All right.
Okay, Jirbie.
Yes.
Since I don't have rosemary essential oil yet, pwede ba yon na yung rosemary herb, lagyan ko yung juniper oil ko? Then,
Pwede.
diffuse with reed.
But remember, when you're using plant material, it takes you longer. I mean, when you're gonna babad it, it's gonna take you a month to 6 months. Di ba yung pinakita ko? I'm not sure if you follow me on my Happy Oiler page, IG. The one that I prepared for my pets, yung rind, citrus rind, you need to marinate that for 3 months minimum.
3 months.
So parang ganun ang nangyayari. Your oils can fast-track that process.
Pala, oil.
Yun lang.
Okay, thank you.
If you're using rosemary, you might have to dick it with mortar and pestle or cut it in smaller pieces so you're able to release the phytochemicals that you need from it more efficiently. Okay? Any other questions before we move on to the next oil? Wala na? All right. So let me just keep this para hindi magulo. Next is lime. I love lime. Sinong may lime? Yan. So take a whiff and just shoot your comment. What do you think about your lime? Say your name muna para alam ko sino kausap ko. Anybody has lime? Wala. Okay lang. Kung may calamansi, yan. Or what else? Jade lemon?
Millet.
Millet?
I think millet. I have
Same.
lime. It came from my friend from Canada.
What's the
It
brand?
reminds me of, it reminds me of a lime cake. Sobrang sarap. Yun lang.
Anong brand yan?
She has a line called Soap Brew. Pero yun, she's from Canada.
Cool. Also, I'd like you to, if you have friends abroad, at close naman kayo, maybe you can try to request like oils from their country. As you may know, iba-ibang country, iba-iba yung sikat doon. That's why I tell my students not to box themselves in any brands, especially kung dito nyo lang siya nakilala. From Canada, I know Sage is really big, S-A-J-E. That's really popular there. In Korea, I've seen a lot of brands as well. Aromatherapy is also something not as big as here, pero it's something there. It's growing. Of course, naka-Korean brand, so hirap na hirap ako intindihin. But, when you go to places, try to discover also the brands that are sikat in that local country.
Yung lime ba, is that parang milder in scent than calamansi? Kasi di ba sa CDL may calamansi? Tapos parang
Let
feeling
me...
ko may calamansi.
There. Oh my gosh, I have... Ay, wala. Wait, wala pala.
Kasi parang din yun, di ba? May monoterpenes din. So parang,
Correct.
din siya, very volatile. So, I was just
Correct.
wondering kung, actually yung calamansi, hindi ko pa rin siya na-try. Parang feeling ko,
You should. For
Pero
the sake of comparison. So we have lime and calamansi. Let me just try to compare. Ang bango. You should try it, Lu.
calamansi, sige.
It has a sweeter smell versus yung regular lime.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mas siya. Iba yung dating niya. Sarap. Yun. So sino bang mag-share sa lime? Who else has lime? Share your brand and what you feel. Michelle?
Michelle.
Anong brand mo?
I have
Kamusta?
YL Lime. YL Lime. So far, the only information that I know of this oil ay nakaka-increase siya ng appetite. And since part siya or parang inline siya ng mga citrus oil, sabi nila, isa daw to sa nakaka-happy din na oil since light yung amoy niya. And yes, mabango siya. So, I'm planning to study this oil kasi feeling ko maganda din siya as part of the respiratory booster natin. Yeah.
Tama. Actually, sinong may alam na lime is it's for appetite? Has anyone heard of that? Walay? Ang alam ko parang hindi. Hindi ba nagpipigil?
According to the book, it's for weight loss.
Di ba? Sorry Stock knowledge says also, parang siya, pangpigil ng appetite. Check mo yung source mo, Michelle. Yun.
Double check ko kasi sa bagay since dun sa group na kasali ako, yun yung madalas na sinasabi nila, that's why napabili ako nito kasi nga 'di ba si toddler, so baka nga sakaling mag-work to increase sa appetite, so I'll try and I'll study more about this one.
Correct. But double check kasi according to my mini brain cells, it's actually deterrent. Nakaka-suppress siya ng appetite. Also, if you guys are smoking, this can also help cessation of smoking para hindi kayo magyosi. Okay? Oh, by the way, I just wanna mention, I'm really grateful for everyone who attended last week, for everyone who took time to leave their feedback, and for that person who said that I'm like a walking Google. Thank you. Kung sino man sa inyo nagsabi nun. That's really funny. But I hope you also understand, no? Unlike Google, it's really hard for me to index kung saan ko nabasa or nalaman. It's hard for me to quote. It's hard for me to credit kung saan ko nakita yung information. But yeah, I'm a very voracious reader, and therefore, I just remember things, but I can't index it the way your computer can. Kaya yung mga prinamis ko nung summit na ilalabas ko, like I've read something about comparing the chemical composition may not necessarily provide you the same therapeutic effect. I'm still looking for it. I want you guys to read it. That's a really nice research. So yun. It's really important also to equip yourselves with all these new information, with all these knowledge, para sabay-sabay tayo nagla-learn. Sino sa inyo yung nag-Coursera? Diba? Sino nag-Coursera? Great. That's
Present.
That's free, and I think it's a good, tinapos ko rin siya, for the heck of it lang talaga. Gusto ko lang makita, how's the information, how easy it is, how beginner-friendly it is, and you know what? Me as a teacher, yun yung challenge pa minsan, na I read so many things, how will I compartmentalize things, and process it in a way that it's very beginner-friendly. So I hope that you guys hanging out here with me, and for those of you who have attended my classes before, I hope that I'm able to deliver that goal, to be able to provide you information that's easy for you to understand. Mapapansin nyo, I'm not really big into saying the chemical constituents, limonene, monoterpene, eme. It's not my thing, because I understand you guys won't understand that. Hindi nyo ma-appreciate yon. If I tell you, oh, this has eme, limonene, this has monoterpenes and linalool, churot-churot. Ano naman pakialam nyo sa mga linalool sa anak nyo, di ba? Hindi nyo napakiyon. And so I try to present it to you in a way that it's relatable and easily digestible. Yun din yung sinabi ko kay Casa noon when I first had a class with them. Okay, so for Lyme, who else is gonna share their info about Lyme or how they feel about Lyme? Ariane, yes.
I have 2 here. Mga una ko pang nabili actually. Yung isa, now essential oils. Yung isa, ABCD.
Ano yung isa?
Yung isa, now.
Yung isa?
Yung isa, yung ABCD. Mga una ko pa tong nabili. Pero itong sa ABCD, siya, medyo mas sweet. Tapos itong sa now, medyo leafy. Pero pag binasa kasi siya, yung sa now, ang nakalagay dito, distillation of the juice or whole crushed fruit.
Wow.
Tapos sa ABCD, lang siya, lime peel. Pero mas sweet yung sa lime peel.
Tapos mas mellow yung isa.
Mas leafy. Parang mas matapang. Pero ito, medyo sweet. Yung sa...
Okay. Yung sa now, does it say if it's distilled, steam distilled, tama?
Yes, distillation of the juice or whole crushed fruit. Baka kaya para siyang mapait.
Okay, so let's try to himay that. That's a really good point. So Ariane, with your now, it actually explicitly states na it was distilled. Unfortunately, kay Zelaroma, walang method of processing. But anyways, yung now mo, ibig sabihin, that one is actually not photosensitive. Simply because it's distilled. And whenever a citrus is distilled, hindi na niya nakakapture yung chemical constituent that makes it sensitive sa UV rays of the sun. On the other hand, your ABCD, it explicitly states that galing sa rind, and I would assume it's from cold processing. Therefore, it's really photosensitive. Si Casa de Lorenzo, when you notice their new label, yung mga citrus niya, they actually have 2 processing na. So, yung atin kasi luma pa, wala pa dito. But yung bago nila, I know meron siyang calamansi steam distilled and calamansi cold processed. So, remember that. If you like applying citrus oils on yourself, I'm not sure kung sino sa inyo gumagawa nun, pero ako hindi. Pero if ever, meron sa inyo, bet na bet maglagay ng citrus oil sa skin, please take time to be mindful of that little information na dapat distilled, steam distilled. Any brand that you choose, just to be safe. Kasi when you use cold process or the regular process, or if that bottle doesn't state kung anong processing, assume that it's cold processed. Kasi cold processed citrus oils are cheaper to produce than steam distilled. So, kung cold processed, nakaka-sunburn yan, please don't use it when you're going to. Okay, anyone else who's sharing their feelings about lime? Wala? Alright. Kung wala, move on na tayo.
Jirbie, I have a question.
Yes.
Michelle.
Yes.
Since citrus oil is photosensitivity oil siya, di ba? It might cause burn sa skin, tama ba?
Tama.
Okay. So, what if haluan ko ng lighter or hindi photosensitive na oil? Halimbawa, for example, si lime or lemon, haluan ko siya kunwari ng white angelica na medyo light or anything na hindi siya photosensitive na oil.
No.
So, magle-less ba yung effect niya when it comes to skin or yung photosensitivity ba niya is bababa?
No.
Or same pa rin? Hindi.
I get your question. There's
Yes,
no
yes.
specific chemical constituent that would cancel out photosensitivity. Okay? I know I've mentioned something about canceling out effects.
Mm-mm.
And ang ano lang nun is the harshness of it, like the oreganos and the thymes. And we're not talking about photosensitivity. We're talking about dermal irritant, dermal reaction. Diba? So, ang meron lang cancellation, as far as I've read, yun lang, yung mga oreganos, thymes can be toned down. The harshness of it can be toned down by your lavender or a gentler oil. Yan. But as regards to photosensitivity or phototoxicity, wala. Just better stay out of it. I think before hindi nga rin nila alam may ganon. There's this one first case of a girl burning herself with the bergamot oil. I think yun yung nasa textbook example. Kaya doon nila na-discover about phototoxicity and photosensitivity. Okay? If you love bergamot oil, I've met students who love bergamot kasi it's great for people with anxiety, with ADHD. Yan, buy na lang bergamot FCF. I honestly didn't know plant therapy is FCF free. Nalaman ko lang din ng summit. Sinabi nyo lang din. But ako, I buy pa from RMO kasi it explicitly says FCF free. It's not that expensive.
Yung Floriana din na bergapten free, pwede rin yun gamitin without toxicity issues. I mean, phototoxicity issues. So, kung love nyo yun, pwede rin yun.
Correct. So, if you love bergamot, yan na lang. Buy yung mga safer oils for your family. Okay? Alright, so let's move on to Juniper Berry. Bring out your Juniper Berries. So I've talked about this in one of my recent videos on YouTube. Parang for me, Juniper Berry is one of the underrated oils din. Ayan, what do you have, Jen? Ayan,
Sorry.
for those who want to participate, turn on your audio. Wow, it's now. What's the ano? Sorry, I forgot to mention yung Latin binomial ng lime. I think it's the same.
Juniper communis.
Wait, for lime muna.
For lime.
Citrus aurantifolia. Pareho tayo, no? Yeah. Should be. Wala namang ano to. Alright, so for juniper berries, what did you say, Jen?
I think it's Juniperus communis.
Tama. Yes.
Juniperus communis.
Alright, bring out your juniper berries, take a whiff, and let me know what you think.
Mild lang yung scent niya sa akin.
Kamusta, Jen? How do you feel?
Parang herbs siya.
Parang?
Herbs? Or woody? Hindi ko alam.
Tama. Very earthy, woody. Tama. How about, sinong may ibang brand?
Ako, I have aromatics international. May siya. Or,
Wait, Jen? Off mo na natin yung audio. May naririnig ako. Ayan. Lou, game.
so yung Aromatics International, and then dun sa bottle niya, nakalagay na yung main components. So, alpha-pinene. So, para dun sa mahilig sa mga forest, alpha-pinene yung naamoy natin. So, hindi siya kasing, kumbaga, parang deep, katulad ng mga idang cedar wood or cypress, but it's a lighter one. So, it's the same, kumbaga, sustansya, but in a lighter, scent. So, I like it. Pero feeling ko underrated. I think that's the right word for Juniper Berry.
Yeah. Did it say sa bottle kung saang plant part?
Dito sa mismong plant part, sa mismong bottle, hindi nakalagay yung plant part. Ang nakalagay lang main components, storage, and then, hindi nakalagay kung anong plant part sa bottle.
Okay, who else has another brand? Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Jen. Who else?
Millet.
Millet, what's your brand? Next,
Mine is
later.
plant therapy. Was it Sorry,
Hindi
na-mention.
pa. Pareho kayo ni Annalisa. Game.
Communist. May question ako. The first time I had the plant therapy na Juniper Berry, sobrang kinilig ako sa scent. Sobrang gusto ko siya. And then parang, bakit ganun? Ngayon, I got a new bottle kasi naubos na yung dati. Same brand, plant therapy, hindi na siya appealing as before. Hindi ko ma-explain. Parang sobrang ngayon. Parang naging normal na lang siya, close to mapine na very light. Pero the first time I opened one, sobrang layo. Possible na gano'n, yung mga batch of oils, even if it's from the same brand, nagiging iba yung scent na, no?
How does it feel now? I mean, how does it smell now?
It's so much different. Before kasi, parang pine na sweet, na fruity. That was before. That was years ago. Ngayon, parang medyo citrusy, earthy pine, light. Sobrang parang not so appealing as before. So iniisip ko, is it my nose? Is it the batch of oils, the Juniper Berry that were distilled?
Anong plant part sa plant therapy?
It doesn't. It didn't say.
Let me check the website. Can anyone check the website of PIXIE? Kung anong nakalagay. Well, someone is checking that for me. Let me just break down what you just mentioned, Millet. Okay, so Millet was sharing, bakit noon, iba yung amoy niya, I fell in love. Bakit ngayon, iba na? I shared with you during Summit, yes, it's possible, even within the brand itself, nag-iiba yung amoy ng oil. Diba, I mentioned na, lately, I've been seeing people complaining about Young Living's peppermint and lavender. They say it stinks a lot. And then before, love nila. You know, sometimes, since we are dealing with plant materials, we can never expect them to be, yung scent profile niya can never be parang cutter consistent. There will always be these little nuances, like what I say often, na meron talagang pagkakaiba. Kasi nga we're dealing with plant parts. From the time you plant the seed, from the time you harvest, even the way you treat them while it's growing up. Do you put, I don't know, more sunlight? Do you sing to them and all that stuff? When you talk to artisan distillers, sabi nila, they really talk to their plants because it provides a better quality oil. So may mga ganung factor. Sino mga plantita dito? Maybe you will understand. My plantita life is very short-lived because I don't have a green thumb. Cactus die under my thumb. So, huwag na natin pag-usapan. But for distillers, they tell me na, this ilang-ilang, it has to be harvested ng 4 a.m. for us to get the most fragrant batch. Jasmine, the sampaguita, would have to be harvested at the end of the day, bago mag-sundown, for us to get the most fragrant jasmine. Rose would have to be harvested din sa umaga, pag sunrise. So may mga ganun silang specifications. And it's really amazing when you talk to artisan distillers, European homegrown essential oil crafters. Kasi alam na nila yan, end-to-end na anong time yung best, anong season best, alam nila. And every little factor, even ilang storms ang dumaan during this batch can affect the end result. It's really that amazing. As regards to your question, Millet, another factor that I can see kaya may difference is perhaps noon, sino na naka-check kung anong plant part ni Juniper sa plant therapy?
It says from berries.
Wow. Okay. All right. So I would, taking that into consideration, no, they explicitly says it's from berries. Another kilala ko kasi, ang sasabihin ko sana, Millet, perhaps noon, kaya mas gusto mo siya, kasi it's from berries mismo. Therefore, iba yung amoy niya versus yung Juniper Berry na from berries and twigs. So for those na medyo mas amoy earthy, amoy cabinet, may nakita ko nag-comment, bakit yung Juniper amoy lumang cabinet? Nasusuka ako sa Juniper. I get what you mean. Because the cheaper ones are from the twigs. Siyempre, nandun na yung mga wood. Mas musky, mabigat yung amoy niya, mas earthy. Those are from the twigs. When you check Eden's Garden, they actually says here, it's from berries and twigs. So, halo ito. But this one for me smells so much fruitier versus Zelaroma. I mentioned this also in my video. Zelaroma has a more earthy. Yung parang mas cabinet. Kaya kung yung nagsabi ng cabinet, Zelaroma ba yung bottle mo? Please confirm. Because I would assume this is from the twig. Either way, if you want to harness the benefit, the therapeutic benefit, it will be the same. So yung amoy lang niya would be for your preference. Kung gagamitin mo siya sa aromatic, pero if it's topical naman, you're gonna be harnessing its effects sa skin, okay lang naman. Okay? So, yun lang. Perhaps si noon, ewan ko, sinulat nila sa website, it's from berries. Pero yung hinala ko, perhaps noon, mas berries, and baka may honey twig. Kaya medyo umiba yung scent profile niya. Okay? Anybody else who has another brand? Wala na? Alright. Actually, in New York Institute, we are also taught about blending factors. I'm not gonna share it now, kasi it's gonna be confusing lang for you guys. I actually teach that during my perfume making class because it's also the factor that you need in computing for your natural perfume making. Yogi, I shared that with you before, right? Yeah. So quiet ka na lang. Don't share it to them, please. Kasi nag-enroll na si Yogi sa akin before. So I taught her about the blending factor. And in fact, each of these oils may blending factor, yung parang rating of its heaviness. And so kapag mas mababa yung blending factor, mas konti lang kailangan mo, and you would expect the limes, the lemons would have a high blending factor. And then this juniper would be in the middle. The woodsy ones would have really down there. Kasi mas marami mas konti ang kailangan mo. Okay? Alright? So, anybody else who's gonna ask about juniper? Any questions about juniper? Okay. Basically, juniper can stimulate your blood circulation din. Kaya kanina na-mention ko siya. It's also good for detoxing. So, when combined with your rosemary, it's a good thing to cleanse the air. Actually, when you combine all three oils that we mentioned today, your juniper, your rosemary, your lime, it's a really good thing to combat stagnant air, yung musky kulob amoy. That's a really good combo for that. Aside from that, may nakita akong chicken recipe that you can use juniper, lime, and rosemary, but not the essential oils, okay? Real plant things. Okay, let's not delve with the idea of cooking with oils. Sayang. I'm just sharing that the three oils today are actually very bagay with each other. You can also use juniper berry with your rheumatism. Kung sinong nirarayuma or may kilala kayong nirarayuma, juniper berry is a good oil for that. Great for joint pains. May nagtanong ng sciatica recently. I came across someone asking about that, either on the group or the Facebook. Juniper is a good oil for that. Okay, and also edema. You can use juniper, cypress, and lemon for edema. You can use juniper and rosemary if you have irritated, flaky scalp. You can also use juniper and thyme to bring out warmth kapag may mga lamig sa katawan. Maybe you can prepare a body oil or body massage with juniper and thyme. Take into consideration that thyme is a harsh oil, so use very little of that. Stay within the dermal limit range, okay? And then you can also use juniper, eucalyptus, and grapefruit para sa breathing mo. If meron kayong, kunyari, wheezing sound, ganyan, nahihirapan kayo huminga, in-asthma, you can try juniper, yucca, and grapefruit. As long as the person is older than 10 and up. Kailangan 10 and up siya. Okay? A recipe for rheumatism. You can use juniper, eucalyptus, and Scots pine. Sino dito may Scots pine? I think Lou mentioned about Scots. Wait, it's in my...
I tried Scots pine. I think I ordered one from Florihan for component blending class. And amoy Scots, it reminded me of yung panlinis sa CR. Pero
Yes.
it's nicer version. Kasi yung sa panlinis sa CR, sobrang assault to the senses eh. Yung parang, in a way, medyo irritating eh. Pero this one, konti lang, tapos, bush, amoy mo na siya. So, yun yung
We're talking about Pinus
Miss Jirbie,
sylvestris,
that's
right?
Juniper.
Pinus sylvestris. Wait lang, Summer.
Sige po.
Okay. Game, Summer.
What's the recipe again for rayuma?
Okay, it's Scots pine, juniper, and eucalyptus.
Thank you.
Okay, so you can prepare a salve for that. You can prepare a massage oil for that. Okay, a good oil you can use for your body oil, for rheumatism. You can use castor oil, 10%, tapos 90%, something that's lighter. Perhaps your sweet almonds. VCO, kung okay lang sa kanya amoy ng VCO. FCO, ganyan. Or jojoba. But jojoba is expensive. So, sweet almond is okay. Tapos 10% castor, kasi you cannot use 100% castor. It's so thick. Sino na sa inyo may experience sa castor oil? Like real castor oil? Yeah? Lev? How was it? Arian, how was it?
Super thick. As in, ayaw niya nga lumabas sa bottle.
Yeah. So, real castor oil has to be diluted because it's really thick. Okay? Formulations-wise, 10% lang ang limit niya. And then 90% you have to use another lighter oil. Okay? Yan. All right. So that's all for the oils for today. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, good. Summer po ulit.
Game.
You've mentioned about bergamot earlier. What's that again? Yung CF something?
FCF.
What's that?
Fluorocoumarine. It's a chemical constituent that is solely responsible for it being photosensitive. Or bergaptine, what Lou mentioned. FCF, fluorocoumarine.
So if we're going to look for bergamot, yun dapat walang FCF.
Correct. Correct. Dapat FCF free or bergaptine free. Yan. So that it's safe for your skin. Although I haven't really used this. Actually, binili ko lang siya out of curiosity. Kasi parang ano bang amoy niyan? Tsaka sale siya. So another tip for you, I really live for Black Friday sale. As in, all throughout the year, I will just list down the oils that I want. Wish list, I will just list it down here. I have this thing in my bag that I carry around everywhere where I put all my notes. Gulo-gulo niya. Kasi ako lang nakakaintindi sa kanya. So, meron akong wish list dyan. Yung mga, curious ako. And then, pag Black Friday, most of the oils that I have, kahit marami siya, akala nyo, sale ko yung binibili. Hindi talaga ako nagsasplurge ng ano. Diba? And as a certified aromatherapist, yun lang. Tinuro na namin, you have to be mindful. Makatipid hanggang kaya dahil hindi lahat magagamit. I'm just lucky to be able to use them kasi nga I deal with a lot of people, especially before COVID. I have classes almost every month, so it's not a problem for me to use all these things. I use them in my classes. I let the students smell it. I let them experience it. So, kaya lang, kung marami, yung mga naka-attend ng class ko, like si Chris, who else is here? Yogi, Debbie? I hope I was able to let you smell my oils. Pero kung sa Gourdos, impossible. I'm not gonna bring my oils sa Gourdos. Ang hirap. But in my studio, I let my students smell them. Even yung oils that I feel are really sketchy, I share it with them. I'm not gonna share it here because it's recorded. Baka maano tayo niyan. But in person, I share them. Okay? If you have any other questions, shoot them now. Q&A na tayo. Anyone? I'll check the chat. Safe ba time for toddler? No. It's really strong. Scots pine, yes.
Question.
Scotch pine, but it's Scots pine. Yes.
May difference ba pag yung cold press na citrus sa steam distilled when it comes to the effects, yung therapeutic effects niya?
None. Same. Ang difference lang yung phototoxicity
Pero sa
niya.
scent, same lang.
Scent will be different. I think I've shared a video about, may kinumpara ko na steam distilled and cold press. Basically, your cold press oils will smell so much more lovely, so much more nakakahag versus your steam distilled. Kasi cold pressing will capture all those aromatic constituents. And sadly, kung maganda yung amoy niya, nandun din yung mga nakaka-burn ng skin. And so when you go to steam distilled, mas mellow yung amoy niya, but it's definitely safer for your skin. Therefore, if you are using that citrus oil for aromatic purposes, like diffusion, then go for cold press. Totally fine. Makes more sense. Pero if you're gonna be using the citrus oil for topical application, for example, I know lemon is used to brighten also dark spots, acne marks, pecas, then go for steam distilled. Okay? And use it at night. Ako, I still abide by that rule. Whether steam distilled or cold press, I apply them at night if I need to apply them on my skin. Okay? Para lang, it builds a good practice para iwas lang sa accidents. Diba? Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I just want to remind again everyone to please claim your prizes kasi sayang kapag hindi nyo claim name. Also, we have a giveaway. Okay, wait, I will just move this. This is actually my bowl of prizes.
I can't wait to.
Andyan yung mga pinapamigay ko sa YouTube, sa vlog, everything. Pag bad yung cat, dito rin siya. Joke lang. Not true. All right. So I'm actually giving this away. Yan. Really Annie's full set of rollers. Once you get your masks, may QR code on. Just shoot it. Kung wala kayong QR reader, I'll try to capture it for you. I'll share it sa Viber or DM me. I'll share it with you. Just leave your personal feedback about the mask. Yun lang. And then send me a screenshot through my Instagram at happyoilerph. And then one of you will win this. May mga nag-submit na. So you have until December 31 to submit.
Ma'am Jirbie,
Yes.
I received my mask pero wala yung box. So I cannot scan. Oh.
Bakit?
Yung volcanic mask yan, di ba?
Oo.
Wala po.
Ganon?
So,
pero may brush.
Meron po.
I'll
Wala
send it
yung
to you.
box. Ah,
Kasi
sige, thank you.
nahirapan kasi si Hill sa mga province ba? Or Metro Manila yan?
QC.
Oh, ba't nawala?
Tawa ko nga po.
Yung ship still came from the province.
Diba?
So, I think, wala siya sa Metro Manila, di ba? So, she removed the box.
Diba? Yes. I see. All right. So, thank you for raising that point. Yung mga hindi nakatanggap ng box, let me know. I'll also share it sa Viber and EOP group. But I think the EOP Summit will be deleted then soon. So, yun. Just do all the requirements, claim your prizes, whatever. And then those who are enrolled under Rose, I think your student portal is already activated. So you can access na the slides, the videos, and everything. Okay? Any other questions? Wait, Juniper Yucca grapefruit for asthma. Pwede ba sa 4 years old? No, kasi may yucca. Eucalyptus is not really safe for 4 years old. I would suggest for you to switch it up with spearmint. Okay? If you really want to use that for asthma. But for me, mas effective sa akin yung pines, yung conifers, like this, winter wreath. This is an old blend from PT. I think they have this, pero iba na yung label. Use this. I also send this to my nephew. Either this one or yung Christmas tree. Mas gusto ko yung Christmas tree. Mas gusto ko yung amoy nun.
I have pala Christmas tree. Can I use it for cough?
Yes, you can. That's a really good oil. I love that so much.
Tinitipid ko.
Meron na ulit Christmas tree. Iba na yung label. Parang color pink na. They came out with it this year. Na phase out yan for a time. And then they came out with this. Winter wreath has Juniper Berry. Yung Christmas tree wala. I think 3 oil lang yun nandyan. Ito 5. 1, 2. Tama, di ba? 3 oil lang.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite. Tapos, I gave that to my nephew. And then I got this. I also love this. Pero mas gusto ko yung Christmas tree. So, yun.
I also got this, pero hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko sa kanya.
Diba yung amoy niyan eh? Pinamigay ko yan.
Kaya nga.
I had that, but I gave it away.
Ay, para kasi siyang
may ginger.
Parang similar sa design.
Tama. Kasi may ginger. So I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something sweet. And I got, paste.
Parang cinnamon.
Gingerbread.
Sana.
Diba? Pero mas ma-ginger. So parang na-turn off ako. Tapos pinamigay ko na lang. Yun. I actually give away a lot of oils to my friends, to my sisters, to you guys on YouTube. Because I don't like keeping them if I'm not gonna use them. Somebody asked about spearmint. In the group yata, diba? So let me I'm not sure if the person can see this, but let me just pick my spearmint habang wala pa nagtatanong sa inyo ng things. But if you have questions, please interrupt me through voice because I can't see the chat room. It's so hard for me to see the chat room. All right, I have 2 spearmint right now for the heck of it kasi may nagtanong sa group. So good. Hindi sila pareho. Mas matamis yung kay doTERRA. I think I've compared doTERRA and Young Living in one of my videos before. Wala yung YL ko dito, nasa office, naiwan. So I can't compare. But Zelaroma and doTERRA has a sweeter peppermint smell. So good. Meron ba kayong peppermint? Share lang natin. Anyone has peppermint? Who would want to share? So good.
Me, peppermint.
Kamusta?
I have peppermint Celaroma, plant therapy, and YL.
Wow! Please share with us. Kamusta?
Yung at first, yung YL kasi na na-receive ko nung una, yun yung nagkaroon ng issue na parang medyo nag-iba yung scent ng peppermint daw. So, kaya parang nagkaroon ng ibang amoy. So, medyo stingy peppermint, yun. Kung meron dito nung may YL din na nagkaroon.
Yes, stinky peppermint.
Yun yung na-receive ko. And then, nag-try ako ng Zelaroma at saka plant therapy. Both sila na andun sa sweeter side ng peppermint. Pero sooner, parang habang tumatagal, halos same na ng amoy silang tatlo talaga. So, syempre din ako sa mas mura, pero maganda rin yung quality, di ba?
Tama.
So, for now, pag naubusan ako ng peppermint, either Celaroma or plant therapy na yung bibilin ko talaga. Kasi same lang same din lang talaga. Also, according dun kay Miss Hill, nabasa ko dun sa page natin na hindi pwedeng maging basis ng amoy yung kapag open mo agad yung bottle, kapag sealed pa yung bottle, tas aamuyin mo na siya agad. So, tendency, may ibang amoy pa siya kasi parang hindi pa nasi-circulate yung amoy ng oil. So, better na i-open mo muna yung oils, then after ilang days mo siya talaga i-sniff test. Then, dun mo malalaman yung talagang amoy ng oils.
Correct.
Yun. Pero so far, di sila nagkakalayo.
Sa amin naman, there's no factor sa first open, but you have to like whiff. Talagang idadaan mo many times under your nose. Hindi siya parang, hindi ganun. Hindi siya literal na sniff. Hindi. Talagang, also in perfumers, wala dito si, Bernadette, but she signed up. I was looking forward to have her. Kasi, di ba, she's a perfumer, so I wanted to, like, articulate what's the difference between perfumers and aromatherapists and all that stuff. But anyway, and then there's this question. Nakita ko na yung Zelaroma oils, Sherry is not here. Is she? She's not here. Alright. So, meron ako nakita na yung mga Zelaroma are expiring. Sino nakakuha sa inyo ng expiring or expired or near expiry? Meron? Meron ba?
Me.
Sino?
Pollyanna, pero na-mention naman daw na hindi pala talaga siya expired.
Correct.
Ano lang sa requirement. Sabi shinare ni Camille Hernandez sa akin.
Correct. Kasi yun nga. Wait, actually, sa sobrang gamit ng oils ko, wala na yung expiry date niya. Wait, I'm looking for Nabura na. Hindi ko mabasa, no? Ayan, this one. My Rosemary is actually August 2020. But I've kept this, like when you hold my bottle, it's really cool because I've kept my oils in a really stable space, away from sunlight. As you can see, nakatago siya. And it should last you a long time, further beyond the expiry date. Kasi expiry dito sa atin, it's FDA regulated na kailangan may expiry date. Pero when you notice naman, other companies, like ito, I'm checking PT, wala, puro batch code sila. Also Young Living, puro batch code. But I do notice, yung Young Living na Philippines, meron siyang manufacturing date. Again, it's manufacturing date. It's not expiry date. Because it's hard to, like, put it in a way na expired na yan. Kasi it also depends on the way you keep it. Okay? So yun, keep that in mind. But if you're not comfortable with that idea of using an oil that has August 2020 expiry, then papalit nyo na lang kung kaya. But ako, I'm just saying, from my point of view, it's still fine. I'm still using it. In fact, my very first Young Living oil is this. Bought this 2 years ago. By the books, this should have been expired. But it still works well, as I've shared sa Fiber. It still smells the same. Yan. Para lang hindi kayo ma-stress. How about Lou? Do you have do you disagree with what I said?
Tungkol dun sa mga packaging and manufacturing, ano to?
No, on expiry.
Ano sa expiry? Honestly, kung personally naiisip ko kung I will go to formulating, tapos magbebenta ako. Ang advice nila lagi is I have to keep detailed notes para pag may nagreklamo na na client. Yun din yung I also took kasi a course with Bernadette parang yung 1-day course niya ng perfumery. Tapos she also does this na she makes detailed notes on ano yung mga expiry or yung product shelf life ng bawat ingredient na nilagay niya para kapag may bumalik sa kanya na client, meron siyang prepared siya. So, hindi pa ako ganun ka-conscientious right now. Hindi ko pa siya talagang, pero from what I've seen dun sa mga mga formulators, mas good practice na tingnan yung expiry. Pero personally, yung mga oils na meron ako, hanggang pwede ko siyang magamit at kung hindi ko naman siya gagamitin for topical, i-maximize ko siya, di ba? Parang kailangan ko rin naman siyang aralin. So, I won't throw it away quickly because titingnan ko muna kung saan ko siya pwedeng magamit na other besides na skincare.
I agree. And to your, thanks for sharing that, no? Kasi, yung background niya, that's why she mentioned about taking notes, the expiry date, it's actually a requirement if you're applying for FDA. So, kung papa-FDA ka talaga, required yon. Lahat ng mga bote, like mine in my studio, talagang may expiry date, manufacturing date. You can't use an ingredient that's not GMP approved if you want to have yours approved. Any other questions about oils? Anything? I actually allotted until 12 noon for everyone.
Jirbie, may question yata sa'yo sa chat.
Okay.
May nakapagsabi daw, kay Maricar galing to Maricar Gomez. May nakapagsabi sa akin na nagbabago daw po talaga ang scent ng YL oil, depende daw sa weather or climate. Is that true?
Yeah, it can affect. What do you mean? Weather or climate while it was grown, before it was harvested, or weather or climate dahil nasa bote na? Please clarify.
Si Maricar, baka gusto niya i-clarify.
Oo nga please clarify. Maricar, are you there? Or I'll just answer both questions para masaya, di ba? Okay. So, whether the weather or climate affects the scent while it was grown, yes, definitely, as shared with you earlier, it does affect. Kung ilang bagyo ang dumaan dyan, habang ginagrow yung batch na yan, can affect the final output. And then, if your question is, what if, kasi sa Pilipinas, mainit, kaya umiba yung amoy ng peppermint from US to Pilipinas? Possible, and that would be caused by degradation of oils. Nag-degrade na siya. Kasi nga, di ba, yung oils, hindi pwedeng ma-expose sa heat. So, if nag-iba siya dahil sa sobrang init sa Pilipinas versus sa US, then, you're not supposed to be happy with that. Ibig sabihin na degrade na yung oil, kaya umiba yung amoy niya. Okay? But I assume naman YL has these processes that to ensure na yung transfer ng oils from US to the Philippines would have their oil quality intact. Okay? While growing, yeah, definitely. The climate affects, as I've shared during the summit, as I've shared earlier, yes. The climate, the time you harvest it, the season that you planted it, everything affects the final output. Okay? For YL, saan pwede mag-ask ng GCMS? Ask their customer service. But in my experience, they never gave it. Who can tell me otherwise? Meron na ba sa'yo nakakita? Because ako, honestly, I've never had it.
Actually, yung sa, nakita ko kasi yung marketing na video ng YL. And then, parang meron silang seed-to-seal approach. Pero, it doesn't say ang opinion ko is, if the company is so proud of their process, then they can certainly show the proof. Diba? Kasi nag-claim ka, di i-substantiate mo. Diba? So,
yes. I agree.
Wala.
I agree. That's the loophole there. Okay. Not sure if I've shared this, but I honestly think seed to seal is one hell of a bullshit thing that I've never really bought. Hindi ko siya talaga parang, what the fucking hell is that? Anong seed to seal? Diba? As a certified aromatherapist, what you really care about is paperwork, approvals, purity tests. And honestly, YL can provide that. Now, why do I use YL? This is simply based solely on my preference. Kasi nga, I'm not sure if I've shared this with you, but maybe to some of my students, why I like YL. Kasi because of my migraine nga. I used PT before, lavender, and while it gives me relief, I'd have to reapply all throughout the day. When I tried Young Livings, I used it first thing in the morning. Usually when I have my migraines, it's usually because of my hormonal imbalance, pag magmamens na, ganyan. So I'd have this very debilitating migraine na I never really liked popping pills. I never really liked popping Advil. So I'd piss it lang as much as I can. If I can sleep it off, I will sleep it off. Sometimes I'm so busy, I can't afford to sleep it off. Therefore, I got into oils. And when I had that migraine nung may YL na ako, I remember it was December 2017. This one, same bottle. Ito pa rin yun. Hindi pa ubos. I used to have, where is that? I used to have the rollerball M&M here. Tinanggal ko na. Kasi hindi ko na siya masyado ginagamit. So I just applied this here on my temple. In a matter of seconds, hindi ko pa tapos timplahin yung morning drink ko. Wala na yung migraine ko. And I was really freaking surprised. And I couldn't believe it. Sabi ko, yes? Akala ko, it was baka psychological lang. Maybe I'm just so excited. Maybe it's placebo effect, di ba? So I was expecting for it to come back na parang, okay lang. Later it will come back. I will reapply just like what I do with my plant therapy. The day went through na walang bumabalik na migraine. At the end of the day, I was really waiting for it na parang hindi na pa akong migraine. Ito na ba yun? So hindi siya bumalik. And so I was really convinced now, okay, so now I understand. I now understand the cost analysis of it all. Kasi when you compute naman your YL, it's more or less 2 or 3 times more expensive than your plant therapy. Wala na yung plant therapy lavender ko eh. Naubos na. Or pinamigay ko na rin. Anyway, when you compute, YL is more expensive 3 times or twice than your plant therapy. Naisip ko, okay, if I'm gonna use PT and reapply it twice or 3 times through the day, and then ito, once a day, edi pag kinompute may math, pareho lang. I'd go for this. I'd go for the relief. I don't mind if I pray 3 times more, but the usage is once lang. So that is when I got into YL. But yun, me getting into YL is very purposeful. It's very intentional. Unlike some people that I've met, na na-convince lang, or uso lang, or ganyan. No, I'm a very, I would say I'm a very critical buyer. I really hear my things before I put my money into it. And I honestly believe in YL. Even if I honestly don't think they're really that transparent with their practice. And so that is where I bring in the balance na, okay, there are a million questionable things about it, diba? Na they can't provide GCMS. They always push for seed to seal. I heard someone who got in touch with their customer service, ang sinabi raw kasi parang secret recipe daw, they won't share it. Ano yun? Diba? So I hope you girls will be critical about that, na parang walang sense yun. Parang dapat pag hiningi mo, ibigay nila. Kasi it's it's like audit. Diba? Like me, I have an auditor. If someone asks for my operational business docs, I have to show it because it's public interest. Ganun din dapat yung GCMS. When you ask it from the company, they have to provide it. I'm not sure with doTERRA. I think this is one of their selling point. I heard doTERRA shows their GCMS. Tama ba? Walang doTERRA dito ngayon eh.
Actually, ayun nga, agree ako doon, Jirbie. Kasi para doon sa mga users na interested na mag-blend based on chemical components, kung yun yung trip nyo, kasi marami namang ways to blend, diba?
Correct.
Aroma, or gusto niya ng parang plant parts, or gusto niya ng by country. Yun. So kung
intense.
Kung trip niyo yung gusto niyo ma-breakdown kung ano yung mga synergy ng chemical components, hindi mo siya mahuhulaan by the bottle. Kailangan tingnan mo yung documents.
Correct.
So, halimbawa, may background kayo ng gusto niyong ma-delve yung science ng bakit effective itong mga conifers kasi meron siyang active ingredient, meron siyang ganitong constituent, alpha-pinene, beta-pinene. So, paano mo siya malalaman kung wala kang papeles? Pero kung hindi yun mahalaga sa inyo, at mahal nyo talaga yung YL dahil sa amoy, okay lang. Tapos kung hindi naman kayo nabentahan dahil kumbaga, iba yung claim, tapos iba yung sinabi. So, kung okay lang din yun sa inyo, pwede rin naman. Yan.
Oh.
So, wala namang kaso doon. So, pero kung may mga non-negotiable sa inyo, tapos ginagamit nyo siya for a specific purpose, tapos kulang, so, timbangin nyo din yun.
Lou, question. In your school, how were you guys taught to blend? Is it because of their chemical constituent?
Yung sa Aromatherapist kasi, parang ang technique nila nung simula is drop by drop, diba? Tapos noon, drop by drop technique, tapos noon, parang maglagay ka muna ng isa, tapos tingnan mo kung okay na sa'yo, ganyan. Tapos pwede rin na, sinasuggest din nila, pwede mo rin tingnan yung by plant part, kung gusto mo lahat ng mga woody. So, bibigyan ka nila ng options. Up to you to decide kung ano yung approach mo or strategy mo sa blending. But hindi nila masyadong tinuro yung sinasabi mo na intensity, yung sa fragrance, yan. So, feeling ko after I graduated, meron akong natutunang from dun sa lab aroma, si Colleen Quinn naman kasi, more of, iti-challenge ka niya na tingnan mo yung yung chemical components. Kung gusto mo makuha tong effect na to, i-breakdown niya kung ano yung mga magkakasama. So, kung yun yung gusto mo. Pero ang sinasuggest din niya is, which is hindi ko ito natutunan before kay Aromahead, sinasuggest nila na mag-blend by percentage. Kasi, pwede mo siyang i-compute ka agad ng mas malaking batch. Kasi nahirapan ako kung drop by drop nga. Paano kung mag-blend for 50 people? So, bawat isang nilagyan, drop, diba? Nakakapagod. So, sa New York, hindi ko alam anong strategy sa ito.
No, for us, there's only the blending factor. There's no such thing to us na blend according to plant part. Walang ganun. Ngayon ko lang narinig yun, actually. But, you have to take into consideration kasi also the background of the teacher. Maybe, yun yung background ni Andrea Bojay. With us kasi, si Jade, she's really old. Maybe, yun yung natutunan niya. It was about blending factor. It's very systematic eh. It's computations talaga, math talaga. So there's a formula, you have to take into consideration BF, blah, 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 may percentage, ganyan. It's very math. Yun. Pero okay lang. Masaya naman.
Actually, maganda yun. Kita mo yung iba-ibang style. Kasi means, kung isa lang naman yung gagawin mo, you can afford, para lang sa'yo, magte-test blend ka lang, di ba? I mean, you can be more flexible. Pero kung gagawa ka ng for business siguro, parang mas math yung approach. Para mas efficient, mas mabilis, parang ganon. I think may So,
wait, I'll share with you one link. This was my perfume EO workshop a few years ago. So, you can check that out. That is the more fun version of it. But yung kay Yogi, the one Yogi took with me, yun yung mas math version of it. Talagang tinuro ko sa kanya yung formula, blah, blah, blah. With this link, this was what I did a few holidays ago. Okay, So I'm actually toying with the idea of having another perfume class. But this is for EO perfume. I don't make synthetic perfumes. So what we do in class is we use essential oils, concoct your own perfume, and ituturo ko yung blending factor doon. So if you guys are interested with that, please follow me on Happy Oiler and wait for my announcements. I plan to have that class so that you guys can learn about blending factor. Ano pa ba? Yes.
I'll share din yung kasi I attended one of the classes of Miss Bernadette then.
Yes.
It's magastos if you're just going to use EO.
Oh.
Kasi it's actually per drop yung niya, yung turo niya sa amin. Kasi the number of drops will determine the smell.
Correct.
So kung 3 drops of lime, 3 drops of rosemary, 3 drops of juniper, and then the next bottle mo madadagdagan para lang makuha mo yung kung ano yung hinahabol mo na scent. So habang hindi mo nahabol yung scent, parami yung sample mo.
Correct. So wait,
ganun siya.
You can check the video. Maybe you can try to click that now. Nakita nyo na ba?
Yes.
Okay. So makikita nyo, do you notice our bottles for class? It's like test tube. Ang liit. So ganon. Kasi you wouldn't want to make a batch that's so huge until you've found your recipe. So I think in that workshop specifically, we worked with 9 recipes. Saya. Tapos we used a lot of oils like Palo Santo. It was a really fun and expensive class. Pero, I mean, expensive for me, but masaya silang lahat. So okay lang. We used Palo Santo, kaya meron akong Palo Santo ng YL. It's so good. I love it. Tapos, I think there was rose, jasmine, we used there. Saya siya.
Well, ang mahal ng klase na yun, Jirbie.
Pero, it was only affordable, like, sobrang mura for them. Yun, when I was having classes pa in person, ayan, lahat yan, giveaway. Loaded talaga sila.
Actually, napansin ko din yan kasi yung sinasabi nga ni Sam na you have to consider din kung magbe-business ka kung synthetic or EOs.
Correct.
Kung yung market mo naman, nabebentahan mo, hindi naman sila into the whole purity of the EOs thing, maiisip mo talaga na bakit hindi ka magsasama ng synthetic kung ito yung bebenta doon sa intended market mo. Pero kung yung market mo naman is yung high-end, gusto talaga nila EO, di game lang, di ba? Pero yun na nga, kailangan mas parang turuan mo talaga yung sarili mo na makuha yung blend na gusto ng cost. Kung hindi, diba?
I think yung students ko dyan, they didn't enroll for it to be a business. I think for their personal knowledge and camaraderie and enjoyment, ganun lang.
In that sense, talagang bawi ka doon kasi nakakadami nilang freebie roast tapos nun just
Kaya
oo, ka na nun.
Ano yan? Couchwasabi signature, ano yan, class? Basta pag ako bumabaha ng oil, di ba, Yogs? Dinadala ko pa sa Davao yan. Yogi is actually from Davao and I conduct classes there from time to time. Kakatuwa. So yun. Do you have any other questions? Yes, I plan to have a perfume making class where I will teach blending factor so that you get something out of it. There will be kits. So included na sa price yung student's kit na may oil, na may bote and stuff. I also have monthly, ano mang class ko ngayon? Deodorant making. Candle making I have. I had deodorant making, but I will space it out. We have soap making. My sister is teaching it. Shampoo bars, I'm so lazy to teach it. But if any one of you would want it, okay, I will make one schedule. Yon. I actually am taking this time, this December, nag-back out ako sa maraming things. Like, as you may notice, I'm taking my season break for my podcast. Because I just want to have rest and put my time to Balto because I was bringing him here sa Philippines that time. Kaya nag-decide ako And then this was my biggest project, yung summit. And then this session, Sniff Sesh is very out of plan. Bigla lang. But I'm very happy to have this. If you guys would want this monthly thing, I was thinking of having a minimal entry next time, but may raffle. Gusto nyo ba yun? Or gusto nyo libre, walang raffle? I was thinking 50 pesos.
Okay, I think okay.
Diba? Para fun.
Fun.
Push!
Kasi marami akong binili ng Black Friday. Pwede ko ipa-raffle. I can actually raffle off this. May binili akong bagong ganyan. So I have so many things coming in for next year. And I was thinking, siguro sa ganito na lang. Kasi kaysa sa YouTube, kasi parang wala. Mas gusto ko talaga yung merong relationship. Like, I can talk to you, we can ask questions, batuhan tayo ng things. Kaysa sa YouTube, dadala ako ng data, pipili lang ako sa wheel. Hindi siya fulfilling for me. Kaya yun, I was thinking of having lang minimal fee, 50 pesos, if you want to join, qualifies you for the raffle. We can give away oils, books, diffusers, stuff. And then once a month lang, because I can't commit so much. So this was really happy for me, fulfilling to meet you girls during the summit, to learn, to see that you've learned. Yung mga comments nyo, I watch them. I may not answer to all of them, but I see them. And if you really need me, just PM or @tag me on Viber because I rarely, ang dami kasing sinasabi, ang hirap. So kung kailangan nyo ako about beauty formulations, PM me. I will answer you.
Jirbie,
Yes.
question.
Yes.
If I am to add essential oils to a conditioner, what should
Yes.
I consider?
Dermalimits, if you're playing with harsh oils, what will you use? Anong plano mo?
Rosemary and peppermint.
Peppermint may have sting effect to some, so be careful of that. Basically, dermalimits lang naman. Tapos yung dilution rate, as you may know, kapag daily use, 0.5 lang. Okay, I can't pull out the research for that simply because it's something that I've learned in an essential oil convention. It was in a seminar. But the research was funded by Aveda. Nasa-stress ako, hindi ko ma-provide yung mga documentation eh. Just keep in mind, I can't, kasi all the things that I know are the things that I've read. So it's hard to index. But I will, for your satisfaction. I will try to pull that out. Yun. If you have questions, you can really ask me. I'm always online on my Instagram. So, the raffle for this, Happy Oiler, send me your screenshots when you've left your feedback. Sayang, 1-3. Okay? I guess that's all. 15 minutes na lang. If you have any other questions, shoot them now or forever hold your silence until the next session.
Jirbie,
Or DM me.
I
Yes.
have a suggestion. What if we pre-order, kunyari for the next sniffing sessions, we can pre-order from Hill, Thomas, kasi she sells in tackles, as in like
Correct.
pwedeng mga 1 ml lang. So parang ako, I'm very curious with so many new essential oils that I haven't encountered yet, like mga amaris ba yan? From
I have
heating.
that.
Ang dami na gusto ko lang ma-smell na hindi ko naman kakaririn na gagamitin. So parang
I agree.
parang yun yung nakikita kong future ng group natin na maybe we can do like 'di ba, parang for every session we can buy from Hill
Yes.
a few ml lang, tapos yung group natin can
I
have
agree.
that parang for a fee we can have it available before the session.
I
So parang
agree.
feeling ko para 'di ba we won't be buying the big bottles tapos sobrang hassle din. So at least parang our group can share kahit lang pang sniff lang natin.
Tama.
Parang
Sige,
yun.
I agree. Thank you for
Thanks.
that. Yes. So I will try to set the oils as early as now. Let's schedule the next session next month, mga mid-month ulit para may time. Hurt naman ako sabi mo. Ako kasi pag curious ako, binibili ko talaga isang bote. I'm really not into takal. Kasi may paranoia ako na, fresh pa ba yan? Gusto ko ako yung gumaganon.
Pang-sniff lang, Jirbie.
Correct.
Sniff
No,
lang
I
kaya
agree.
1 ml.
I honestly agree. Tama naman yan. Mas yan, intentional yan. Huwag niyo akong tularan, promise. Ako lang to. Pero sige. Tama, I agree with Millet. Millet, you've been my student. Twice, tama ba? Once, twice. Yeah. Yeah, she's been to my class before. I agree with her, para mas tipid, para hindi stressful. Let's set the oils. So why don't we do this? Message nyo ako, or message on Viber. I'm reading that. Ano yung oils na gusto nyong makilala? And then I'll click from there, and I'll announce it, para you can prepare. And then, we can initiate Hill to provide a group buy. Mga tigo 1 ml, 2 ml lang, di ba? So you can sniff. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. All right, great. Good suggestion. That's more sustainable for everyone talaga. All right. So shoot na. The oils that you want to get to know. If you want to get to know Ameris, we can use this next time. Pero kayo na muna. I will pick yung pinakamaraming suggestions para mas marami mag-benefit. Okay? And then, maybe, from time to time, I will share my personal pick for the month para happy lang. Okay? So I guess that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining in, all 20 plus of you. I hope to see you again next month. And Merry Christmas!
Thank you din, Jirbie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Hope you find this
Christmas.
Thank
useful.
you. Merry Christmas.
Bye! Ingat!
Bye. You post your diving video, ha?
Ay, sana hindi ako
Hindi ka
bulabugin.
lubutang.
But I'm excited to share. Bye!
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.